welcome to Afternoon Express. Happy Monday. I'm Bonnie Booley.
I'm Jeannie D, and welcome to Motivational Monday.
Yeah.
Today we have an incredibly inspiring collection of guests. We start off with the incredible actress Renate Stuurman, and she's going to be chatting to us about a film adaptation of the book Happiness is a Four-Letter Word.
Might I add that she does have the best hair in the whole country.
Oh, in the whole country, other than me.
We're also joined by Dr Greg Venning, who's written a book called Thrive, which is all about taking control of your well-being. He was also your prefect in school.
I know, he was my head boy in school. You see, I go to school with achievers.
Wow.
Yeah. We're also going to be chatting to the incredible author and journalist Melinda Ferguson, who's going to be telling us her story about her recovery. So all that and more happening today in Afternoon Express, as well as our little mouse Danilo whipping up something tasty in the kitchen.
Buongiorno, South Africa. Welcome to Afternoon Express. My name is Danilo Acquisto. Now, I particularly put on this accent today because we're going back to our roots in the kitchen. Correcto, mundo.
Exactly.
That's not Italian, but...
It's fine, because today in the kitchen, pizza is a five-letter word. Happiness is a five-letter word.
Happiness is a five-letter word.
P-I-Z-Z-A. Oh, missed it already.
We're making happiness in the kitchen today. We're making particularly a different style of pizza, correct?
Pizza bianco.
What does that mean?
I'm taking a risk here. I'm saying no cheese on this pizza.
Okay, bianco means white.
Exactly.
Okay,
it's a white pizza. No cheese, no tomato. Let's see what's going to happen.
Sounds like a focaccia. So if you guys want to get the recipe and start making it with us, afternoonexpress.co.za is our website. It's got all the details you need to make these delicious dishes at home for you and your family. It's a Monday. We want to kick off the show in style. Bonnie's standing by on our couch with our first guest.
Actress Renate Stuurman is one of our country's most recognizable faces when it comes to stage, television and film, having worked extensively both locally on shows like Seven de Laan and Isidingo and internationally. She joins us in the loft now, only a few days before her release of her new film, Happiness is a Four-Letter Word. Welcome, Renate.
Thank you.
Lovely to have you in the loft.
I'm
so nervous to interview you.
I'm so
you're
nervous
one of my
as well. Oh, my word.
Actress goals. So we watched you evolve from owning the soaps to becoming the movie star that you are today.
Oh my goodness.
Would you say that the soapy world was your threshing floor?
Do you know, actually, I think, yeah, I suppose for camera work, because I actually started in the theatre. And then when I moved to Johannesburg, there was just more television work to do. And I found myself sort of going from one soap to the next. And it did give me a lot of the, I suppose, tools that I can use now.
Right.
But you know, soap is so different. It's such a different medium, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're on camera, you're there every day, and you sort of have to take all that information, digest it, and forget about it, you know, and move on to the next day. And I think drama series and film are slightly different, you know.
Having worked across all these different mediums, would you say that you've coined a particular style for yourself? Would you characterize yourself as a specific type of actress?
I hope not, but I do see people sort of trying to characterize me as a particular type of actress. So I've done a lot of dramas over the years, which I enjoy, and I think that's sort of where people see me. But I would like to be like a jack of all trades. I'd like to like just work that muscle in every situation.
Exactly.
You know? So hopefully with this film, you know, it'll lead to more opportunities for me to get into film. And
I'm certain that it will. And what's your dream role?
I don't know. I don't have a dream. Like, I want to play something completely different.
Yeah.
That's my dream role. I always tend to play quite strong women. Nothing wrong with that. But I would like to play something that's sort of maybe more the opposite of me, or maybe more the real, like the real me, maybe someone a bit more vulnerable, something that people haven't seen before. So I don't have a specific, like, character in mind or anything like that, but just something completely different.
Speaking of strong women... Sorry. No. Speaking of strong women, a drama series that comes to mind is The Mating Game, which was quite a robust take and a very sexy series. Do you think audiences are ready for that type of storytelling in South Africa?
You know, I hope so. I really enjoyed doing The Mating Game, and I worked, again, it's so similar to this film, you know, 3 women, strong women, leading the story, you know. And I hope that people are ready to see more of those kind of shows, because we had a good time making it, and I think audiences responded well to it. And so, yeah, I just hope that there are a lot more shows like that for other actresses as well, you know.
Something else about you that audiences might not know is that you're a keen decorator and designer. And you made it to a finalist in the 2015 Winner Home series.
Yeah, so I went back to school like 4 years ago and studied part-time, and I have a decorating business. And yeah, one day it was sort of towards the end of shooting Happiness. I was at Decorex with my boyfriend, and the producers just came up to me and said, "Do you want to be in a show?" And I was like, "No, I don't." And then, and then they were like, "No, really, it's about this and that and that." And I was like, "Hold on.
Hey, why not?
This sounds like fun." Yeah, it was great.
And then you were also in The Giver, opposite Ian Mckellen, and you said he walked around set in Wellington cow print
Yes, not
boots.
The Giver, The Prisoner.
Okay.
The Prisoner. Yeah, he was lovely. I met him, and he was on set in like cow print wellies. When I first met him, he said to me, "Don't I know you?" And I went, no, I don't think you
oh
know
my
me.
goodness.
No, but I think I know you. He was lovely, so sweet and down to earth, you know, just a really, really lovely man.
And another feature about you that makes you very recognizable is your beautiful mane of hair. And you always say people want to stick their fingers into it.
Yeah, they want to, oh my gosh. I mean, yeah, they do. It's so, especially when you're like, you know, when you're drunk at 3 a.m. in a petrol station. I don't, like, you might just throw up on me, and where have your hands been? I don't want you. Please don't touch my hair. I'm not being rude. Just, you know, give me 5 feet.
And do people ask you if it's real? What are your beauty secrets as well?
Do you know that I've, like, over the last few years, I have found great salons, 2 great salons, and I have found very good products. So I'm on Pinterest like everyone else, you know, on the hair groups, pinning the hair like this, pinning the hair ideas and mixing up like the mayonnaise and the mashed banana and like trying things out. I don't know, you know. So I try and use really good products, and I just don't wash my hair with shampoo more than like, you know, once a week or something like that.
Well, you're not going away. We're still going to chat about your amazing new film, Happiness is a 4-letter word. Awesome. After the break, Danilo goes Italian in the kitchen with an interesting take on pizza, and we're back on the couch with Renate to chat about her latest film, Happiness is a 4-letter word.
Another delicious recipe brought to you by Salati Sugar. Always good, always sweet.
Buongiorno tutti, and welcome back to the Afternoon Express kitchen. We're going Italian today. Myself and Clementino, as I'm going to call him for today, are making something called pizza bianco. And that's a white pizza. It's got no tomato bases, and hopefully maybe a bit more healthy for you.
Well,
not really.
Let's not say that. Let's not say that.
Let's not jump the gun.
But I'm liking Clementino though. That sounds really great.
Clementino. We must talk like this for the whole segment.
No, I don't think that's going to go down well.
Why not?
So, let's just get into the recipe. So what I've got is I've rolled out my pizza base all beautifully. I've left you with one. So can you just spread it out a little bit?
Sure.
Get it like that?
I can do that indeed. That's one of my favorite things to do, actually, in the kitchen. I remember for the first time I ever appeared on Top Billing was making pizza with my dad at home. He loves his pizza oven. It was his favorite pride and joy. I even had like a teenage party where we had to invite all of our friends over, and that's what we made, pizza.
And that's the thing about pizza. It's not just about eating. It's about the whole experience of making it. I mean, pizza parties are so popular. Like, everyone's doing it.
Yeah.
And also, it's a great way to get the kids in the kitchen. I'm not saying I gave you the kiddie job. But you,
I've messed this up already. Wait,
so
I'm going to carry on. Don't worry.
We're talking about the white sauce that we're doing. So we're not doing a tomato sauce, which you so kindly mentioned already. We're going to be doing a bechamel-style sauce, which is amazing because how you normally do it is you just cook the sauce over the pasta in the oven, and that's the first part of it. And that's when everyone else comes in. They start topping their own pizza, making it their own.
Okay.
So I've got some garlic and some butter. I'm just cooking it off. As the butter's all melted through, just add our flour, which is basically like a roux. We've spoken about this before.
I'm pretty sure that if you wanted to add some extra, like, sort of flavorings to this, you could use something like a blue cheese or, you know, just add that sort of real rich texture to it. Because the bechamel can be quite a sort of simple flavor, but I mean, we want to show everyone how to do the basics, and then we can always just add to it from there, right?
Exactly. So, and that's exactly what we're doing. We've like taken it a step above by adding that garlic in there.
Ooh, yummy.
And we're going to add even more seasoning with dill and nutmeg.
So technically, you're taking like a separate version of like, if you guys have ever been to restaurants and ordered like something called focaccia, or they're called like a garlic bread or like a garlic pizza. That's basically what it is. You guys just added a bit of olive oil. They've just thrown some garlic and herbs. Now what we're doing is we're adding a couple of extra flavors to that.
Can I just leave the kitchen
No,
right
I'm
now?
sorry. I'm getting excited with your challenges. This is when
no,
my, like...
I'm impressed. Well done, well done.
Hell set goes. Okay.
Okay, so we've got some milk in there, and you gradually add your milk. That way, you don't get lumps, and it starts thickening as you keep
sorry,
on
that
going.
is just milk and flour in there.
Milk, flour,
Do you want me to do that for you?
and the butter and the garlic.
Okay.
Awesome. So what I'm going to need you to do is, how's your pizza guy looking
Done.
there? Is it good? Do you want to give it a flip?
Oh no, gosh, that'll make me
Don't
look
want
like an
to?
idiot. I'll
Okay.
try. Wait.
Let's see.
Is this the flip where you put it? What must I do with it? Like flip it up in the air? Like...
Exactly, like you see on TV.
Hello. Oh,
And you know the trick is, just put it over your knuckles and then spin it apart. And as you do that, you just lift up in the air.
That was okay.
That's okay, but we're going to use that one.
Yeah.
So I'm using some semolina on our pizza board.
Okay.
Can you pop that piece of dough over there for
Sorry,
me?
wait, what are you putting on here?
Semolina. So I'm going
What's
to tell you
that?
about semolina.
Oh, okay.
It's instead of doing flour, we use semolina. That way, the pizza doesn't actually stick to the board.
Ah.
Great trick, great trick.
Okay,
So
nice thing to know.
I'm going to chop up some dough.
Oh, mine looks terrible. I made it. There we go. I just closed
You
off
know
all the
what,
holes in
Danilo?
it.
There's no right way to do this.
Okay, let's just
It
have
looks
some fun
good.
with it. And I made a nice
I'm
big one,
happy.
so we'll just chop off the edges.
This is the sauce and it's done. Okay? We've added the dill, we added the nutmeg. How amazing does that smell?
Oh, it smells so delicious.
Can you give that a good helping, generous helping?
Oh.
So because we're making enough for all of our guests today,
Yeah.
I'm going to need to make some more sauce. I'm going to keep on going.
Okay, you can
So,
carry on doing with that.
nutmeg.
I'm going to note this on here, yeah? Nutmeg.
Nutmeg in there. We've got our dill in there already, and it's thickening up nicely.
Okay. How generous am I going with this helping? You said generous, but is it meant to leave like a thick layer, or is it
Do
meant
a
to
thick
just...
layer, because as this bakes in the oven, which is the next step, so go to the oven, it's kind of thins out a little bit.
Okay.
And we want to keep enough sauce on there so it actually moistens the pizza.
Okay.
Remember, we're not doing any tomato sauce today.
Totally. Okay.
I am so impressed. That's going to be delicious.
Awesome. How long does this go into the oven for?
If you're using a pizza stone, 5 minutes. And another trick is if you don't have a pizza stone, use the underside of a baking tray in there on the flat surface, and about 10 minutes, just under 10 minutes.
Lovely.
And
All right.
as hot as your grill can go. Trick.
Delicious.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll do that for you guys right now. We'll show you how it looks like afterwards, and you guys can make it along with us. afternoonexpress.co.za. The recipe and shopping list is there. The ladies are standing by on the couch.
Thanks, Danilo. Now, the long-awaited film, Happiness is a 4-letter word, is based on a novel by South African author Cynthia Jele. It follows the lives of 3 women living out their dreams. Mabatu Moncho plays Nandi, a lawyer and compulsive perfectionist. Kanye Mbao plays Zaza, a go-getter, who lives the high life as a trophy wife. And Renate Stuurman plays the role of Princess, a trend-setting art gallery owner. And we are back on the couch with Renate Stuurman to learn more. Sure.
Wow.
That sounds like
A
the
mouthful.
funnest story ever to be on.
Actually, it was. Yeah,
I'm
but,
sure.
yeah.
And when a lot of people hear about 3 formidable women like yourselves, like just amazing powerhouses in your own right, they get nervous.
Right, they
being
do.
on one set.
Right.
All those women being on one set.
Right. So there's always this idea of like, oh, is it gonna be tense?
What's gonna happen?
Is Kanye gonna come with like 50 people, entourage and her own makeup artist, whatever? And it actually was not like that at all. You know,
What was the dynamic like?
It was great. You know, I've been saying this. We've been doing a lot of press for the film, and people always want to know like, what was your connection like? And actually, from the start, from I would say the callback.
Yeah.
They put the 3 of us together, and we just had this like instant connection and understanding, and it really helps when you have to play friends. You know, it makes it more believable when you actually get along and you have a good time together. So when we were on set, we had fun, you know. We were checking like, hey, your bra strap is sticking out, move that, sit like this, whatever. We were just girls, you know. We had a really good time, and I think it adds to the film, you know.
Well, it sounds very similar to the connection that the 3 of us have.
Yeah.
You get really close
Yes.
being on set with people.
You do.
But let's go to the beginning. I mean, obviously, this is from the original novel by Cynthia Jele. Did you read the book? Did you have any idea of the story before you were cast in the film?
So before I was cast, I had not read the book. And then when I was cast, I started reading the book as we were filming. And I remember Mabatu once said she didn't want to read it. She didn't want to know. She didn't want to be influenced by this character.
Yes.
And then for me, I did want to know. You know, I wanted to know, what are the building blocks for this woman? You know, who is she? Because you only get so much from a script,
script,
right?
exactly.
You know, that you only get. And so the book just was like, a wealth of information. Who is she? Because you can't take everything from the book and put it you know, on film. But it did help me. And then I was able to like leave it and be like, okay, so that is who she is, and I can take that and help form this character. You know, for screen. Yeah. So.
And you worked with powerhouse Thabang Molewa, who's coming up as the director to
Right.
watch
Amazing
right now.
director.
Right.
What was that like?
So he's young and he's very enthusiastic and energetic, and he really wanted it to be a collaborative experience for the three of us, you know, because we're women and we are South African women, we live in Joburg, and we know these characters, and we know women like that, and we sort of have an understanding of what any of these situations could be like. And the whole production was really about allowing us to contribute, you know, bring ourselves, bring our own experiences. So he was very open to that, and I think that also helped all of us, really.
I actually cannot wait to watch this film, but I want to know, what's it about?
So it's about these three women in Joburg, and you meet them at different stages, right, in their lives, in their careers. And the question is, what is it that makes you happy? So if you have a man and he's got a lot of money and you're married and he gives you everything,
yeah, we like those.
Yeah. So does that make you happy, right? If you know, if you could just swipe, does that make you happy, right? If you have a career that's going very well and you're on the up and up, does that make you happy?
Wow.
Or if you're more of a control freak, like my character, who's more of a commitment phobe, she likes things the way she likes them. She doesn't want to get too involved. She wants to decide, you know, how and where. Does that make you happy? And so, you know, in the movies, what normally happens is you're faced with the thing that you're avoiding.
Yeah.
Right.
Wow.
And so that's
the lesson you need to learn.
right. So we meet these women at different stages, and then we follow them on this journey, and they all have to confront their own
It's so
situations.
relevant, I think, for women of our time at the moment. That is such an important message.
Right.
But also, with these three really strong women, I can imagine the men were amazing.
The male
I know
counterparts were
Clem
quite amazing.
Somla, Richard Lukunku, Chris Atto, Tongai Charisa, all very, very strong male actors, but also at the same time, it's not that this film was trying to exclude men in any way, but it really was, you know, it was about the three
It's like
ladies.
Sex and the City, almost. The South African version.
Well, you know, I mean, people do say that, but I mean, obviously the budgets are different. You know, this is South Africa, and you can't compare it to American budgets. Yeah. But it is, I suppose, comparable in the sense that it's about women, it's about their love lives, it's about their careers, and most importantly, about their friendships, you know.
That's incredible.
But your stylist didn't give you Manolo Blahniks every day.
Yeah, no, that's... I think I might have mentioned that if that happened.
Make sure you catch Happiness is a 4-letter word in cinemas from this Friday, the 19th of Feb. If you'd also like to win a copy of the original novel, courtesy of Kwela Books, an imprint of NB Publishers, then now is your chance. SMS the keyword books, your name and city to 33728 now. SMSs cost R1.50, T's and C's apply, and are available on our website, afternoonexpress.co.za. After the break, we chat to Dr. Greg Venning, the author of the upcoming lifestyle book, Thrive. Don't go away.
Five Roses blends only the top 2 leaves of the finest Ceylon teas. Because nobody makes better tea than you and Five Roses.
Welcome back to Afternoon Express. It's a motivational Monday, and our next guest is absolutely incredible. Dr. Greg Venning is the author of the upcoming book. It's called Thrive, a book about rediscovering our innate potential and living the bigger life we desire through making the right lifestyle choices. Dr. Greg is founder of Peak Chiropractic and developer of Upgrade Your Life. In demand as a hard-hitting speaker and coach, he's helped people of all ages to improve their levels of well-being and lead richer lives. Welcome, Dr. Greg, to our loft.
Thank you so much for having me.
It feels like such a, what you call a pressurized role to be here and talk about happiness, because I think everyone's going like, tell me the secret, we want to know it all. But before we even go that far, you know, Jeannie mentioned at the top of the show that you guys went to school together and you were a head boy.
Yeah.
How are you still alive?
Well, I don't know if she remembers, but I got in trouble for trying to discipline her at one stage. I got called into the headmaster's office.
It never helps to try discipline, Jeannie. Get her into line here. Just don't tell her we said that.
I wish I could have told you sooner. I would have saved you a lot of...
It's a live show. You're safe here. You're safe in front of this side of the cameras, okay? Just don't go that side.
Yeah.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Let's move our attention towards the book. You know, we've been speaking quite a lot about happiness on the show today. What inspired you to write Thrive? And what is it about happiness that inspires you so much?
Well, my journey started when I was basically clinically depressed at one point. I was almost an alcoholic. I was into drugs, and I just wasn't happy with what I was doing. And as I went through, I started my career and I wanted to get into performance enhancement. And in the beginning, I thought I was going to do that with sportsmen. And then as I went through and I dealt with them, I actually realized, no, I want to play a bigger game. I want to help people to live a bigger life. And that really came through the science of wellness. It didn't come through any spiritual or religious way. It came through from hard science of figuring out that this is possible and that we can have it through the daily choices we make.
Obviously, you're interacting with a lot of people on your day-to-day basis. I mean, how many billions of people there are in the world, and everybody's on this search to try and find their true happiness. And some say it's through finding it through religion, some say it's finding it through well eating, some say it's through being in nature. Why are so many people in the world unhappy?
I think that we live an unbalanced life in terms of our perception of life. So what I'm saying is that we think happiness comes from pleasure, where I really think happiness comes from fulfillment.
Okay.
So we confuse happiness with comfort and pleasure.
Yes.
And that leads us to sit on the couch, watch too much TV, not this one, this is a great show, eat the ice cream, and that kind of leads down the road to worse things.
Yes.
But we seem to think that that is happiness, but then we end up being empty, just like having all the material possessions in the world.
So it's overfed yet starving kind of...
Exactly that, exactly that. It's this unbalanced, really paradoxical way of living life that we seem to be stuck in until we find a path of fulfillment, which doesn't have to be a religious path, although it can. It's more about finding what matters to you, how you can love, how you can serve, how you can experience more, and then how to put things in place so I can do that better.
Totally. But we're living in a society, honestly, that now is instant gratification focused. I mean, everything you get is for now, now, now. It's instant pleasure, instant gratification.
Absolutely.
So is that even possible to try and find that kind of fulfillment?
Yeah, and I think that we don't have to reject what's happening now. Social media might be a negative thing if we allow it to dominate us in what we think, but we can also use it to put out our inspiration, to find inspiration. And I think you're right, where if we're living moment to moment so instantaneously, we miss out on what's happening in the present. And we miss out on slowing things down and on appreciation versus expectation in life.
So it is primarily about that balance. It's not necessarily to kind of run towards one extreme or run towards the other.
No, we want to balance performance and enjoyment of life now with longevity in the future. You don't have to be the healthiest corpse in the grave. That's not the point. The point is to get everything out of now without sacrificing what you can get in the future.
Awesome. You mentioned in the book the idea of a vitalistic lifestyle. What exactly is that? Because I know you've also mentioned that happiness is doomed and all of these things sound very negative and scary. What is the relationship between the two?
Well, I think it is, I'll just touch on that. It is really scary with how we are chasing happiness and how antidepressants are rife. We all know people who are on drugs, who are chronic anxiety, depression is huge. So that is really scary, and that's reality. However, by living what we call a vitalistic lifestyle, which is trying to look for health from within, happiness and fulfillment from within, how do we do that? How do we eat? How do we move? How do we think? How do we create that lifestyle that fosters that?
A lot of people are going to say to you, well, listen, I'm not happy with change. I don't like change. Change is scary. Change is new. And your entire book is about change, not only from a lifestyle perspective. You mentioned food as well. Talk us through some of those changes that you think are the most necessary ones in order for us to achieve this vitalistic lifestyle. I mean, it's difficult. It's not easy.
It's really tough. And I think we sometimes make it tougher than it should be, but it was tough for me when I did it as well. And I think that as a species, we almost want to be comfortable rather than uncertain. And taking that first step for change is always going to be uncertain. We're always taking a step into the unknown. So what I recommend to the people that I see every day is start with the smallest manageable thing that you think you can do, but make it consistent. So instead of saying that I'm going to exercise for an hour a week, 3 times a week in a busy lifestyle, here's what I start with people. I say start for 5 minutes a day, but make it a daily thing. And it's really easy. You kind of think 5 minutes. Oh, I can do that. Yeah. And then before you know it, some days are 10, 20 minutes, and some days are just the 5 minutes. But now you've built a habit, and it becomes easy to then stretch that habit out rather than trying to carve it into other places.
Okay. Why does food play such a big role in this?
So there's 3 parts. There's food, movement, and what I call headspace. And I think they're all equal. However, we have a massive emotional connection to food. It's the classic thing of sitting on a couch watching TV with an ice cream tub, isn't it? Kind of fulfill that void inside. But I think that's the void we're trying to fill with food, and fulfillment fills the void. Food it's your fuel, it's the enjoyment, it's the social aspect behind food, but it just does dominate our psyche so much. I think a massive part of it is also how we've been trained to eat certain foods, how the food industry takes advantage of certain flavors, certain combinations,
but also things have been put on
advertising.
the shelves in an easy, like things that are easy to access, or the things that are most expensive, easy prepared. There's no real sense of fulfillment about creating a dish or learning that you have a purpose behind the food that you eat and what it does to your body.
Spot on. And then also, who am I eating it with? How am I enjoying it? Am I taking space and time, or am I just munching it down while I'm at the desk between emails?
Yeah, this is powerful stuff that you're leading us through, but I'm very excited to hear that you're obviously a chiropractor also by practice, and how does that whole thing fit into this idea of living a vitalistic lifestyle?
Well, vitalism really, and the vitalistic lifestyle is really well expressed in chiropractic. And what I mean by that is that if you want to have health from the inside out, you have to have your master control system of your body working well. Now, what do you reckon your master control system of your body is?
Your nervous system?
Spot on.
Okay.
And I didn't even coach you on that. That's amazing. So we want to have that clear. So your brain and body need to be integrated so everything can work well. If you're not integrated properly, then we're going to start having problems. And so what chiropractic does is clear the communication between brain and body. And so it's more about the brain than it is about the pain.
Yeah, I'm sure also about if your body is out of balance, or you've got a slight pain in the spine or something, and you correct that movement, your entire mood is suddenly more different, because you feel more in control of your body. You feel more like you're able to take that next step, or you feel like your beginning point, your starting block is finally there and ready to go.
And that's why I choose to work on the body as my starting point in this vitalistic lifestyle. Because by working on the physical structure of the body, you can create such a big impact that people now think, oh, I can do the next step. It is possible.
Okay. Let's actually talk about the book itself, because, I mean, listening to this interview, I'm pretty sure lots of people are writing down notes or trying to find out more information about how to go and do this. I mean, everyone wants to be happy, and they're going to say, there's so many different ways to find happiness. What is my specific purpose? How do I find my vitality? What can we expect from the book itself, reading cover to cover?
So what we go through is we go through three sections. We go through, well, what's going on now and what's the thought process behind it, so we can start to figure out why we're behaving the way we do. Because our actions every day are driven by our emotions, which are driven by our beliefs and our values. So the book helps us to realize what our beliefs and our values are. Then the next section is, well, what is a better set of beliefs? We can start programming that subconscious really nicely. And then the last section is really the how-to, really simple things about what can you do today that's really simple, really easy.
Sure. Dr. Greg, it's really exciting to have you in the loft with us, and I think a lot of people are really excited to take this knowledge. I mean, particularly in the world that we live in today, things are so fast-moving. Everyone's trying to find, like, what is my meaning? What is my purpose? We want the suicide rate to diminish. We want depression to go away. We want anxiety to disappear. And so this is a really cool way to go and do that. So thank you for joining us in the loft today.
Thank you very much for having me.
It's an absolute pleasure. So we're very excited because today we're giving away a copy of Thrive by Dr. Greg Venning to one lucky viewer. All you have to do is SMS the keyword WIN, your name and city to 33728, and do that right now. I know there are a couple of SMS lines open, but make sure you SMS WIN to 33728 to win this book itself. SMSs are charged at R1.50. T's and C's apply and are available on our website, afternoonexpress.co.za. It's time for us to take a short commercial break. Afterwards, we're joined by author and journalist Melinda Ferguson to chat about how she turned her life around. We'll be right back.
Fresh Pack. Goodness comes naturally.
Welcome back to Afternoon Express. Joining us now is the award-winning author and journalist Melinda Ferguson, who burst onto the local literary scene with her hard-hitting memoir, Smacked, a harrowing true story of addiction to survival in 2010, where she shared her honest and brutal story of overcoming addiction. Welcome, Melinda.
Hi, Jean.
I mean, how incredible and brutally honest your books are.
Yeah.
You've just released the third of your memoir trilogy. Can you quickly give us a brief overview of what the previous two were about before we get into
Okay, I'm going to be really quick.
Just tell us.
High-achieving girl, you know, does well at school and everything, experiments with heroin and crack, becomes a complete junkie, then has an incredible downward spiral, lands up in Hillbrow on the streets, totally trashed. And basically, that was my first book, Smacked.
How old were you when this happened to you?
Well, you see, I wasn't like a little young person. I started experimenting with hard drugs when I was about 24.
Okay.
By the time I got clean, I was 33. So I spent like 7-8 years completely just downward spiraling, as what happens with drugs.
Sure.
And I was in the film industry. I was an actress. I was doing well. But the drugs just took everything.
What led you, sorry, but I want to know what led you to that point of starting? Because, I mean, it's not like you were smoking weed. You went straight onto crack and heroin.
I was smoking weed before.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Look, the gateway drug thing worked 100%
okay, so
with me.
There was
I
a
was
gateway
drinking,
drug.
I smoked weed. I thought I was fabulous. I used to, just do a lot of experimentation. And I was a curious kid at school, but I was also very rebellious.
Okay.
And when I first met heroin, I really thought it was a kind of a sexy, secretive, dark, interesting thing to do. And I wanted to say, I've smoked heroin. It was one of those things. I don't know, most people don't have it on their bucket list.
No.
I did.
But is it true that when they say the first time you try heroin, you're addicted?
Well, I was. And I'm an addictive person, so it was tickets for me. Crack as well. I mean, crack and heroin, using them together. The high and the low. Heroin makes you very dreamy. It makes you very calm, actually. Crack makes you incredibly insane, hyper, cocaine. Yeah. So the two of those drugs were just, I don't know, I found them incredibly addictive.
Yeah.
And before long, I mean, after 2 weeks, I was using heroin almost every day after first trying. And then my life just started, I was still making films. I was in the film industry, making documentaries, and we'd smoke a budget up. Then we'd, land up in big trouble. And so, as an addict, you shift goalposts all the time. So I always used to say, oh, well, I don't spike, so that I'm okay. I just smoke it.
So you would literally smoke it?
On tinfoil, actually, like that. But I'm not going to experiment. I'm not going to show you now in the kitchen.
But it's so funny how easily everything then unraveled around you just within a week, you'd say.
Well, no, not within it. Look, in the beginning, you have a semblance of normality. No one knew for about 2 years.
Yeah.
But I know that within a week of taking it, I was heading for disaster. It took a lot longer, I think, for other people to notice and for people to see the complete chaos that my life landed up being in.
So your first books cover that. Then you got clean for 15 years.
Yes, and in my first book, Smacked, I get clean. I land up on a homeless farm. It was quite a terribly hard way of getting clean. I didn't go to a cushy rehab. So my first book dealt with that, and it was a kind of the crawling up out of this terrible addiction into sobriety.
Yeah.
And then my second book, Hooked, I was about 10 years clean when that came out.
Yeah.
And that was more about internet addiction, because, an addict...
You cross-addict.
Cross-addict.
Sure.
And, I mean, the world, I think, is pretty addicted anyway, as the doctor earlier was saying. We're all trying to find a fix. We're trying to fill ourselves up. The internet, Facebook, all those kinds of things was like mother's milk to me in sobriety. I might not have been using drugs or alcohol, but I was like obsessed with the internet.
Yeah.
I still am, by the way.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
so
not like
I'm paranoid now when you're saying this.
It's not like I'm kind of clean on that. It's going to take probably someone smashing all my machines up for me to actually stop.
But it's funny how you recognise that as an addiction as well. And I think a lot of people maybe suffer from that and don't acknowledge it as, I need a social media detox.
They say, I mean, a dacha addict will become very unavailable. Well, guess what? When you're sitting doing social media and your partner's sitting next to you and you're both looking at your tablets all night, that's also unavailable.
Exactly.
So it's the same kind of impulse, the need to fill yourself up and the fear maybe to address your fears inside.
Yeah.
And that's what that book was about.
Now, the third book crashed is because on the 15th day celebrating your sobriety, what happened?
It was actually on my 14-year clean birthday.
Okay.
Yes, let's get the numbers right.
Yeah.
So it was a day after my 14-year clean birthday, and I've become a motoring journalist. In my sobriety, I then loved cars. I became a bit addicted to cars, and I managed to get a Ferrari, a 3.2 million rand Ferrari, to test drive for the day to celebrate. And on the way back to Vigli, I'm not supposed to mention names. Okay, so on the way back to some Italian car dealer, I landed up having a monumental accident. I basically wrote off this 3.2 million rand Ferrari. Not willingly, clearly.
No, what happened?
I overtook a truck and I didn't see a robot because a tree had grown over a robot in the middle of Benmore. And I literally, as I got in front of the truck, I looked up and the robot was red. And I was in the middle and the I won't mention the other name of the car, but that big car came smashing through and hit me in the right-hand side. And
the car was absolutely totaled, but you weren't so hard yourself.
No, I was fine.
In a critical condition?
No, darling. I walked out without a bruise.
No.
Maybe
good cars.
Yeah, I had a bit of whiplash, and I did have a bit of a bruise from the airbag. But I mean, compared to what could have happened.
Exactly.
And I had 3 of my colleagues with me in the car. It was a 4-seater. So, I mean, it was a miracle. We escaped without any injury. But I had an enormous bill given to me.
Did you have to pay for the car? Because now you've got to buy the car since it's written off.
Yeah, look, insurance was all in place, but there's always excess. In the end, I had about a 650,000 Rand bill given to me as a kind of, well, okay, we'll pay for this, but here's your bill. And luckily, I got an attorney, and I landed up having to go back at the people I was working for, and I landed up walking away from that. I walk away from many things in my life, I think.
So, Crashed tells that story. Did you ever think when you started writing your memoir that it would take 3 books to tell the full story?
No. And someone said the other day to me, you better not do something else crazy because you're going to have to write another one. Exactly. And, you know, that's the thing. I think what I do in my life is I've always managed to turn disasters into blessings. Yeah. It's a kind of Buddhist idea of, like, take your curse and make it your blessing. And I think that's what I've managed to do. I mean, my addiction could have really taken me out. I mean, many addicts don't recover into a world that they can show their faces in again.
Exactly.
And I've been very out there with my stuff. I think speaking about addiction, speaking about our darkness is something that is incredibly important in order to get better.
Do you think that was your particular process within your recovery that has actually helped you?
Yeah. Definitely. I mean, writing about it, being unashamed. You know, you get it. I put my children, I mean, in a lot of danger. I had 2 little boys. I was a drug-addicted mother. Wow. There were a lot of shameful things that I did in my addiction. But somehow, when I brought them out into the light and I started dealing with them and acknowledging them and admitting them and the whole thing of getting out of denial, that's when I think I started the healing process.
Well, Melinda, I've had a look at a couple of pages, and it is so well written and an absolute page turner. And pain turner. But I'm so happy that this must have been an amazing cathartic experience for you, and I really hope that everybody reads from it and grows from it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, today you also stand a chance to win a set of all 3 of Melinda's books, Smashed, Hooked and Crashed. All you need to do is SMS the keyword Express, your name and city to 33728. SMSs cost R1.50 each. T's and C's apply and are available on our website, afternoonexpress.co.za. Danilo, that pizza is actually, the loft just smells of heaven right now.
I'm so glad. I was actually just about to say that I think Melinda's going to write a 4th book, and it's going to be about how amazing this pizza is. It's going to be dedicated to an entire book series on it. Because it's already looking amazing, but you still said that there's more to add to these things.
There's more. So, Clementino's back in the kitchen with Danilo. So, our pizzas have been in the oven for 5 minutes. What? So, seeing as you're so, like, you're just impressing me in the kitchen today, do you want to have a guess and have a go at those ingredients on your side?
Sure, as in go and place them on or tell you what they are?
You just tell me what they are.
Oh, that over there is what we either could call Parma ham or prosciutto, but I think it's Parma ham.
It is,
correct? Parma ham's from the belly of the piggy.
Stop it right
Is it,
now.
right?
That's amazing.
And then I'm assuming this is basil, right?
Yes.
But I'm assuming you could also just replace that basil with something like a rocket, because I know a lot of pizzas like to have Parma ham and rocket. Seems to be a nice combo, but I like the sweetness of the basil.
Exactly, and that last one, that's what I'm actually, I want to see if you get.
This?
The one that's in front of you, the little bottle.
Oh, this was over here. Oh, awkward. Okay, I'm busy describing the wrong ingredients. This, can I smell it?
Please do, please do.
Ooh, okay, that's definitely got something like truffle in it.
It is.
Is it truffle?
And how amazing is that? A bit of a luxury ingredient today in the loft.
Oh, it's delicious. And that must be so expensive. I don't think I should touch it in case it like topples over.
So what I've got, I'm doing a porcini tapenade. So I've got porcini mushrooms. Tapenade. Basically, we all used to olive tapenades, which is just, you're basically on the step to going to make a paste, but you just chop it up really coarsely.
Okay, so it's quite a coarse paste. Then,
so what I've got in there is just the porcinis that I've hydrated, and I'm going with salt and pepper mix.
Okay.
Let me just go. Sorry, my board's a bit wobbly today. And fresh rosemary, just to counteract that earthiness of the
mushrooms?
porcinis. Absolutely.
And porcini, can you buy porcini already hydrated, or you've obviously bought the dried up version, left them in a bit of water, but can you buy them hydrated?
You would buy it you would buy it dry.
Dried, okay.
Dry. And you know what? I think that's a benefit because once you've hydrated it, that liquid that's left over becomes the most amazing stock ever.
Ooh, delicious.
It's insane.
So you've added there in some chili flakes, you've added in some porcini mushroom, you've got some rosemary in there and some garlic, and now you're topping it off with a bit of
olive oil.
Is this olive oil? Is that
No,
normal olive oil?
This is just olive oil.
Okay, good.
Adding that much truffle oil would actually, no, not a good idea.
People will be sent to heaven too quickly, yeah.
This is the one that you made, and I'm going to actually take it because I like this one better.
Your one looks nicer than mine, because I think mine kind of got folded on the edges. I got a bit too excited.
No, that's amazing. So you want to top your one up with a little bit of the top on? I'm being a bit selfish, taking most of the ingredients. There you go.
Oh, you wanted to come back this side?
Look at this. You've even brought my ingredients to me.
Look at that, eh?
Okay, so if you can just top yours with some tapenade, you can do your own one.
Oh, I see what you're saying. You wanted me to give you this. I'm getting very excited about the Parma.
You know, it's pizza. It's all understandable.
Okay. So if I mess up your toppings, you mess up mine, we can all just blame each other. So it's fine. I like the way you think.
Another great topping for this pizza is I found that seafood goes really amazingly with this white sauce.
Oh, I see.
So if you just add some prawns on there, that'll be amazing. Also, just chicken. I mean, you don't have to go crazy all the time.
No, don't have to be super fancy. I mean, you can be super fancy, and the nice thing about these recipes on our Afternoon Express website, honestly, is that we show you how to make the basics, all those sort of base ingredients that you need and you like. You guys can create those, and then obviously just add your own little flavors to it. And then we don't... I've had people come and ask me, even my father was once who made a recipe on the show, he's like, I don't understand how this works on this little piece of pizza. I don't want to have this on that pasta sauce. And he said, well, change it up. Make it your own thing. Make it something that you really enjoy.
You know what my favorite is? When our viewers actually test our recipes, make it their own and send us pictures.
Yes.
And it's just like the ultimate for me. So
please don't tag me because I drool all the time. I'm a foodie, so you're going to make me open my fridge and have to eat like crackers then afterwards.
But do send us pictures if you're going to be cooking, definitely.
Yes. Cool. So that goes like that. Looks absolutely delicious. And we can go obviously get this recipe. You can go and get this recipe from our website, afternoonexpress.co.za. It's a delicious pizza bianco. It's got a white sauce that we made earlier on in the show. We'll show you how to make that on the website, plus exactly how to put these toppings on and create your tapenade on top of that. It's delicious. Thank you, Clem. I'm sure the ladies are going to be very excited to taste this one. We're going for a short commercial break. When we come back, we're reading all of your comments on social media. Don't go anywhere.
Experience the world in a way less limited. Apply today at dinersclub.co.za.
Skip loves your clothes as much as you do.
Welcome back to Afternoon Express. You know, when we've got such a great show with such incredibly inspiring guests, it really doesn't make a Monday so bad after all.
Yeah.
You guys have really made our Monday. Thank you so much for coming through.
Thank you. We love you. I think you're about to make our day with this pizza.
Oh, I hope so. I totally hope so that you guys are going to enjoy this as much as we will, right? You guys want to take a slice, enjoy it, tell me what you think. I know some of you are banting, so if you are like not trying to...
Can we eat the meat?
Definitely. Yes. He will gobble the carbs after you.
Yes, basically, yes.
So, Renate, I want to know we're seeing so many South African actors go overseas and have a huge success rate. Do you have any plans to hit the US Hollywood?
Jeannie, why are you asking me that? I mean, obviously I would love to do that because I think that's, I mean, everyone wants to do that.
Yeah.
You know, really funny.
Me, what?
I think it's something
What's Hollywood?
What? I mean, I would like to try it at least, you know. I just want to go and see. I mean, why not?
I definitely think that you should.
Yeah.
I think if you can dream it, you must just go and do it.
Well, give us your American accent, come on.
She does a great American accent.
Wow! Why did
you did, when you played Jade in Isidingo, I loved that.
Thank you.
We want to hear how you describe this pizza in American accent.
No pressure.
Okay, no pressure. This pizza looks really, really good, and I really like the ham on it. And
oh my gosh, I'd hire you totally. You're movie. Steven Spielberg is on the other line. Yeah.
I think my biggest lesson about the whole Hollywood thing is that I think for a lot of actors it becomes Hollywood stops being a destination and a place and it becomes a level at which you want to be doing work. Yeah.
Totally. Greg, I have to ask you, obviously with having all these guests in the loft with us today, lots of inspiration, lots of stories around it. What is the key to happiness? Like you mentioned vitality and wholeness and balance. Can we have a more simpler version of that? How do we all be happy?
Like a four-letter word.
Yeah, like a four-letter word.
So the best one I've heard is the synthesis and synchronicity of complementary opposites. You take your light and your dark, and that's you in the middle.
Wow.
Is that happy?
You've done that.
Yeah,
You've done that with your books.
I'm
That's
the
exactly
example.
Yes.
Yeah, that is actually the real truth. And are you happy now?
You know what? If I was to say I was happy all the time, then you would have to say, what drugs are you on? But the thing is, I have moments of such happiness, and I often look back, and I think when I'm filled with gratitude, which sounds all Oprah-esque and all whatever, but gratitude is the thing that always makes me kind of shake myself out of my pitiful kind of, oh yeah, man. Because I moan a lot about stuff, and actually there's nothing really that bad. And I experience great joy that no drugs could ever have given me.
One of the questions that I asked you just before we sat down was, how do you recover from exposing yourself so much? Because I remember when I wrote my memoir, I felt like I was never going to come back from having exposed myself so much. But you've done it 3 times.
I've done it 3 times, and I actually enjoy it. I think I like a bit of chaos. And
Self-flagellation.
I like a bit of scandal. And you know what? One of the things I thought is people were already talking about me. So let me talk about myself and own it. So then they can't go, yeah. It's my truth. And then the more you own your truth, the more you have kind of rights
Freedom
over
over it,
yeah.
That's amazing. Yo, what inspiring stories. I mean, like, just listening to your stories really inspired me, because I know a lot of the communities that we deal with, particularly now impoverished communities, a lot of people don't know what the signs are when they know that they're in trouble. And I mean, you've gone through that whole process and you've come out of it. So just a quick one on what you think the sign is. What is that first sign to know that, actually, wait, I'm in trouble?
Denial. When you say you're not in trouble, when you keep on telling everyone, no, it's fine, I know what I'm doing, I'm okay, I'm okay, I'm okay. Those people are usually not okay. Wow. I think. Well, that's not for everybody, but it's a good sign.
It's a nice general.
Thank you, Melinda. Now, make sure you join us again tomorrow for Afternoon Express, when we take a look at the water crisis in South Africa. Make sure you tune in early, because during the first 15 minutes of the show, we will have the Minister of Water and Sanitation in our loft to give us an update on the national situation. And with regards to water and in the kitchen, we're making rose sugar lumps.
Oh, it sounds so delicious. I'm very excited to chat to the Minister.
Until then, we'll
Good
see
night.
you. Have a lovely afternoon. Happy eating. Ciao. I wanted the pizza.
Another feel-good production.
Hi YouTubers, thank you so much for watching. Your support means the world to us. Join the Afternoon Express family by subscribing to our channel right here. And we'll keep you up to date with all our recipes and of course our fabulous episodes. Also, feel free to leave a comment and share this video. We do love it when you express yourself.